Hello, good evening. Do you able to see my screen? Hello. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late today. Okay. So tomorrow onwards we'll meet exact 7 o'clock. Okay. Okay. So we supposed to start up with like a recovery scenario. Before starting recovery scenario, anybody having any questions? Okay. Okay. So no disturbance or nothing, right? Sound you'll be able to hear me properly. Okay. Okay. So the main purpose of automation is like needs to be executed unattendedly or night execution. That means like you put for execution and go home. So at that point of time, in middle, you may come across scenarios like unexpected events like pop-ups or object states or runtime error or something problem with your network or server may go down, something like that. Some unexpected events may occur. Right. So how to handle these kind of unexpected situations? Exactly, you have to say, miss, uh, to handle unexpected events in our qtp, we will come up with like recovery scenario. Okay. To handle unexpected events, so in qtp we'll come up with one powerful concept, so that is nothing but like a recovery scenario. In qtp we'll come up with like four types of recovery scenarios. Those are nothing but like pop-up, object state, test run error, and application crash. So pop-up, the best example is like security alert. So when you will get security alert, you are not sure, right? So that is nothing but like your pop-up. Okay. So there are four types of recovery scenarios you will come across: pop-up, object state, test run error, and application crash. The best example for pop-up is like that security alert message. So when you will get security alert, you are not sure. Then object state. Sometimes what will happen is like while fixing a bug or developing new functionality or integrating with new features to the existing functionality, developer what he do is like he may change the properties for a specific object. Okay. So that is nothing but like object properties, or even you can say like object state. So or he may introduce new object in either of the case. So that one is the best example for like your object state. So at that point of time, as of now you remember like what is pop-up, what is object state, what is test and error, and application crash. So how to resolve? So again you need to be follow like four steps in your qtp. That one we'll discuss later. As of now you try to understand like what is recovery scenario, which type of recovery scenario comes under like which category. If you are aware of that is what, that is more than enough. Okay. So that is nothing but like object state. Then best example, let us suppose like that is a startup airlines. Let us assume startup airlines. So that is what initially they may not start up with like whole across globe. What they do, limited services they may have. That means like from and to. So they have like 10 from locations and 10 to locations, let us assume. So your current automation framework is handling the 10 list items whatever you have in your from and to. But they were enhancing their business, let us assume. So from and to list boxes will get vary. Normally the thing is like whenever change request comes across, so they should intimate to whole developers and testers as well as business analysts, all team members simply have to say according to the process. But sometimes what will happen is they may not intimate to testers, they will definitely intimate to development team. Why means developers are the key team to develop application, right? So they should intimate to development team, but they may mistake the testers. So at that time, uh, whenever new release comes up, your automation put for execution, but unexpectedly instead of 10 list items, they were enhanced it to 15 letters also. Then what will happen? Your test script will get failed, right? So that is the best example for test run error. Test run error. Simply I have to say means logical error. Logical error comes under test run error. Okay. So that is nothing but test run error. Then application crash. You are working with your computer means sometimes what will happen, suddenly your application may hang out. At that time what you do, you'll try to go to task manager and try killing the process. Even task manager sometimes may not come out. At the time what you do, you forcibly restart your computer, right? So that is the best example for your application crash. Exactly. While putting for your night execution during your automation framework may happen these kind of situations. So what you do at that point of time, exactly how you do manually during your automation also, you can kill the process, or even you can restart your Microsoft Windows operating system. Okay. So these are the four types of recovery scenarios you'll come across in your QTP. In WinRunner, you go for means even in WinRunner you will come across these three types of recovery scenario, but there you will consider it as exception handling. Normally in WinRunner you are calling it as exception handling, but you don't have four types of recovery scenarios, only three you are having. That is nothing but pop-up, object state, test and error. In addition, in QTP latest versions they come up with application crash as well. Okay. So these are the four types of recovery scenarios you will come up with in your QTP. So while putting for your automation night execution, either of these unexpected events may occur. So how do you handle if any of these unexpected situation you come across? So for handling or to recover from this unexpected situation in QTP, what to do is you will go for performing four steps. Those are nothing but when should QTP consider it as a recovery scenario? How QTP recognize it as a recovery scenario? When should trigger request, trigger event for recovery scenario? It's very simple. Normally, whenever each and every statement is executing, let us assume some of the statement QTP unable to proceed with its execution. What QTP does? If you remember, during uh, what I say is synchronization points. During at that time, I could have explained. By default, it will wait default synchronization timeout. So how much time it will wait? So 60 seconds. How much you are mentioned at your settings, right? So by chance, QTP unable to execute specific statement. By default, it will try to wait default synchronization timeout. Even in that specific point of time, QTP unable to perform. What it does? It will try to fail. So that is the situation for QTP to consider it as a recovery scenario. So in your automation framework you are using recovery scenario means, so first it will be keep executing statements at some point of time, executing specific step it got stuck up later also. So initially what it does is like it will try to wait default synchronization timeout like 60 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever the time it was there in our test settings. Even in the time QTP unable to proceed with its execution, it will try to wait. It will try to consider it as a recovery scenario, and QTP control automatically goes to recovery scenario. Okay, so that is nothing but like triggering the event. At that point of time it will control go for recovery scenario. Then let us suppose some pop-up available. So what you have to do, you have to bring back your application to your automation framework to normal state. Means what you have to do, you have to close that pop-up by clicking either cancel button or OK button or close button, something like that. What you have to do is you have to close that unexpected pop-up. So that is nothing but like recovery operation. So how exactly you have to recover that abnormal state? How exactly you have to uh, close the pop-up? So that is nothing but like recovery operation. So that is nothing but like your second step. Okay, so you are clear that purpose successfully. Then what is your next step? How do you proceed with your test execution? That means like you have to execute the same step again, or you have to execute same action or same test script, or you have to stop the test script and go to next test script, or you have to re-execute whole script again. How exactly you have to proceed with your post execution? So that is nothing but like your post recovery. Okay, then hold this operation, you will save it for future reference purpose. These are the four different steps you will perform during recovery scenario. That means like in order to handle unexpected situation in QTP, you will be performing these four different steps. So that is nothing but like when should raise the trigger, how to recover from that abnormal state. Once you recover from that abnormal state, how to proceed its execution, then you will save it for future reference purpose. So this is nothing but like your recovery scenario. So I had to bring that situation means really is a difficult. So what I do is like I will create that unexpected situation and show you. So let me launch my QTP. Okay, do one thing, you don't think too much, so you go along with these steps. Okay, so I'm clicking on OK button. By the time you are having this pop-up, right? By the time you are having this pop-up. So at this time, if I try to set agent name, unable to set up, right? Okay, unable to set. So this is the, that means like if you put for execution, so whenever QTP reach seventh statement, here what I'm doing, so I'm trying to set agent name, password, clicking on OK button. Again, this is wrong password. This is wrong password. So again, I'm trying to set agent name. So whenever you click on OK button, by the time this unexpected pop-up you are having, right? So I cannot set my agent name. So even while executing through QTP also, it cannot perform, right? So that is the good situation for QTP to consider it as a recovery scenario. So how to handle this unexpected situation means you have to create recovery scenario. So tools, I'm sorry, resources, recovery scenario manager. In order to create recovery scenario, what you have to do is like you have to navigate resources, recovery scenario manager, and remember this is not the new button. Okay, so here you are seeing like new button next to scenarios. So that is the new button. You have to click new scenario. Why they come up like confusion? Really I'm not sure, but this is the one you go for creating recovery scenario. Just remember. Okay, so as soon as you click on new scenario button, it's giving you like wizard. Okay, so as I told, you have to create recovery scenario means four different steps you have to perform. What are those steps? When should raise the trigger, recovery scenario, post recovery, and you'll name it, you'll save it for future reference purpose. These are the four different steps you'll try to perform, right? So click on next. So how many types of recovery scenario you will come across? Four types of recovery scenarios. Those are pop-up, object state, test run error, and application crash. So which type of recovery scenario it belongs to? The current situation is like pop-up. So I'm selecting pop-up. That is your first step. So whenever QTP looks for this pop-up, so consider it as a recovery scenario, and QTP control automatically goes to like recovery scenario. Then second step, trigger. Second step, you have to show your QTP. So hand icon. This is the pop-up we show. See, during regular equations, I could have told you like wherever you get object properties, everywhere you can apply recovery. Sorry, regular equations, right? See here also it's showing. If you want to apply regular equations, here also you can check it out. Okay. So this is nothing but like a trigger. Then second step, recovery. It was automatically went to recovery. Recovery it was selected. So what you have to do? Either you have to click on OK button. You have to close that pop-up. So that means you have to click on OK button and cancel button. What exactly you have to do? So that means like either you have to perform keyboard or mouse operation or application process or function call or restart Microsoft Windows. What exactly you have to do at this point of time? You can go for like keyboard or mouse operation. Okay, you can go for either keyboard or mouse operation. Then next step again, either you have to click on OK or cancel button or default button. Just a second. Okay, then click on cancel button or escape button. Even this one also you can go for, or you can click on specific button. You can show your QTP, or even shortcut key also you can give Control J or something like that. Any shortcut key you have means even that is also fine. This is nothing but like recovery operation. So once you click on OK button, it will go off that pop-up, right? So that is what I'm doing. That is nothing but like recovery operation. Then do you want to create another recovery operation? So I don't want. I check the terms, uncheck. Okay. Then post recovery. I told, right. So repeat the current step again, or proceed to next step, or proceed to next action or component iteration. Proceed to next test iteration. Restart the current test run. Okay. Or stop that test run. So which one at this point of time is the best situation? Either first one or second one. Anything you can go for. Okay. Anything you can go for. So then final step is nothing but like give the name for that recovery scenario. Papa 10. Let us assume some name, and description is optional. Okay. So if you want to add another recovery scenario, you can click at add. Okay. So otherwise you just uncheck all this one, just click on finish. So this is how you can create your recovery scenario. So the idea is very simple. So it will ask you to go through the sequence of steps. So what are the steps you have? You can go through them. Okay. So so what I do is like I'm creating recovery scenario. So there I'm giving name for pop-up 1 or 10. 10 I have given at that time, right? So 10 I'm giving. So that is how you can create your recovery scenario. So once you create recovery scenario, how could you find out that recovery scenario? You have to set it up some settings. Those are nothing but like file settings. Once you go for, you see one tab like recovery. You see one tab, so that is nothing but like recovery. So plus, so as soon as you click plus, it will ask you like navigating browsing. So where you have, wherever you have saved that recovery scenario, that is what you can select. So add scenario. This is how you can add your recovery scenario. That means like while executing qtp will look for, this is the recovery scenario. Remember, there is no restriction like number of recovery files you are associating to your test script. Unlimited. Any number of recovery scenarios you can associate to any of the test. So this is how you can link your test recovery scenarios to your test script. Then here you are having like activate recovery scenario. When qtp will consider it as a recovery scenario. So on every step, on error or never. Let us suppose you were added 100 recovery scenarios. So if you go on enable like on every step, what will happen? Before executing every step, it will try to look for recovery scenario one by one, how many you are mentioned, and finally it will go for executing that step. That means your qtp execution gets slow. I'm sorry. Okay, your qtp execution gets slow. So that is the reason it's not the good option to go for on error. Means whenever error occur, so at the time only the control goes to recovery scenario and look for. So in case if you are using recovery scenario, this is the best option to go for. Okay, so this is nothing but like error never. Means you are not using recovery scenario at all. Means you can go for never. But at this time you are using recovery scenario, right? So you can go for on error. Set it as default. Okay. Okay. So this is how you can create your recovery scenarios. Okay. So let me execute. What it does, it will click on OK button. Whenever it will click OK button, so as you are entering wrong password, It will give you that pop-up. It's again trying to set agent name, but QTP unable to set. So this is the right time for QTP to consider it as a recovery scenario. But it's not immediately going to recovery scenario. Why? It's waiting for some time, whatever the time you mention in your settings. Even that time also QTP unable to perform this action. So it went to recovery scenario. In recovery scenario, see here, nowhere you see clicking on that pop-up, right? But from where it's looking, your recovery scenario. So it clicked on OK button. Then it was entered correct username, correct password. Then home page navigated. Okay. So once again I will execute. So this is how you can go for like using recovery scenario. This is nothing but like your pop-up. Exactly like that. Object state, runtime error, even application crash also you can go. Okay? But object state and runtime error. Is it really object state means object properties developer is going to change. Is it really possible for us to expect in future which kind of changes application is going to change, a developer which kind of property is going to change? Is it really possible for us to go for recovery scenario, estimate and come up with, or test run error? Means within a specific application your feature enhancements or something like that change request you're getting. Is it really possible for us to expect change requests or enhancements and handle that kind of situation? Really not possible, right? So how do you handle if that is the situation? So that is the reason really people not going for like a recovery scenario. And another thing before going that one, pop up. If this is the situation means, is it really required to go for recovery scenario? At this perspective, if you take, as soon as you click on OK button, you are entered uh, wrong password. Another thing I could have told you like yesterday, the scenario is once you enter username and password for your Gmail, you may get an unexpected situation. Even at that point of time, you don't want to go for recovery scenario really. How you can handle? It's very simple. If pop-up exists, you click on OK button. What you can do? You are really sure if that is a pop-up you are getting means once you click on OK button, you are getting this pop-up. So how you can handle this situation is it's very simple. Really, you don't want to go for recovery scenario. So what you can do? Okay, stop. So how you can handle this situation is instead of going to recovery scenario, if dot exists, okay, then click on OK button. In one computer, you are getting that pop-up. So it will go inside of this if condition and click on OK button. In another computer, you are not getting that pop-up. It doesn't go inside. So really, you don't want to go for recovery scenario at this point of time, right? So that is the reason. Really, people are not going for recovery scenario in your framework implementation, but it's not 100% wrong. They are using recovery scenario, but how exactly means? Uh, where is recovery scenario? Okay. So okay, as I said, like object state or test runner. So in future, which kind of changes developer is going to change, or which kind of changes you are coming across in your application, you are not sure, right? So if that is the situation, what you do is like you choose whatever the thing it is, and during recovery, so function call you go for. Function call means like we skipped a function you will call here. We skip function you will call it like how you will handle this kind of situation is like if QTP unable to perform any of the step, you take screenshot of that application up entire screen, save it somewhere, stop the test script, go next test script. So this is the kind of recovery scenario people were implementing. Okay, so whatever the issue it is, so what you do is like capture the entire screenshot, save it, stop the test script, go next to test script. So once your automation execution done and send it out to like your mailbox like report, so you'll be referring which test cases got failed. So at the time you go for like that report, and you'll see like screenshot what's happening exactly at the time of running. Then you will analyze what exactly is failing, then accordingly you will take decision. So that is what you will be doing. So that is what I have to show you, means you should be aware of like VB script functions. So once I start up with VB scripting, I will show you at that point of time what exactly you have to perform. Okay, so as of now you ignore simply like this is the option. And another thing is like remember, if it tests an error or application crash, you sorry, object tested or application test run error, in either of the case you can go for function call. If it is application crash, so which exe files you have to kill, you have to yard them. Okay, which executable files you have to kill, you have to yard them. Then post recovery, either close application process or restart Microsoft Windows. In either of these options you go for. But really, even I'm also not sure, like you have to restart your Microsoft Windows means you have to give username and password your Windows, right? So that is what really how you will give, or it really works or not, I'm really not sure. Even I never implemented this is the option. Okay, so and remember another thing is like this is the one people really not using, how they are using like through VB scripting approach. So that is what I will show you during your VB scripting. Okay, so these are very good into questions like whether you are really using your recovery scenario in your automation framework implementation. Yes, we are using. So how? Through VB scripting. So that is what I'll be telling you during your VB scripting. Okay. So remember, if it is a pop-up, you go for first option. If it is application crash, you can go for either close application process or restart Microsoft Windows. If it is like object tested or test an error, you go for function call. This is how you can handle your recovery scenario. So in QTP, you will come up with like four types of recovery scenarios, and to handle any of the recovery scenario you'll try to perform four different steps. This is nothing but like your recovery scenario, very powerful concept. Okay, any questions, anybody? No questions? No questions means we'll end up our session. Thanks for your time.